Hello and welcome to the ultimate building guide for Dune Awakening. My name is Corsair, and it's a pleasure to have you here today. For the past 1500 hours, I've been designing and building bases in this game. Some of them you may have seen. Some of them were fan favorites, and some were cloned by many Dune players, which is awesome. Also, if any of my epic bases made you think, how the hell did he do that? Then you are in the right place, because I am hoping to answer most, if not all, of your questions in this video. This is my second updated version of the building guide. My first effort, How Not to Build a Box, was a bit rushed and poorly planned. I am here to remedy that with this video. Plus, I have put an additional 500 hours into building in this game since then, and I have learned a few more things that I'm going to share with you today. I have broken this down into 4 chapters. 1. Where you should build. 2. How to start your construction. 3. How the building pieces can be used. And 4. How to make your bases look truly epic. So, without further ado, let us start with where you should build your base. When I am determining a location for a new build, whether it is for someone or one of my own projects, I'm looking to answer 3 main questions. The first question is whether you need the base to be connected to a road. Do you need ground access for your buggy, or are you using a carrier to transport your vehicles to the mining areas? This matters because the Haga Basin South has 3 primary resources: erythrite from the rift, aluminum from the shield wall, and jasmium crystals from Shoal. That leads to the second question: what do you want immediate access to? If you do not have a carrier, you need to be in the middle of those resource zones for efficiency. If you are driving, anything other than a central location is a compromise. However, you will eventually move past the duraluminum stage and start hunting for plastinium in the deep desert. At that point, you will want closest access to the world map, Arrakeen or Harko village, for trading and Landsrad missions. You have to decide if you want to be near the rocks or near the gate. The third question, which is just as important, is what kind of view do you want? You have to think about how the base is going to look and if you want a unique atmosphere. Building in the Haga Rift is cool. You can hide bases under land bridges or have massive hangars with drop bays in the valley, but it is dark. The game is very dark in that region, even when you are not in the valley, so you have to decide if you're willing to max out your brightness and gamma just to see your own front door. Then you have Udum. It has cacti and cool rock formations, and I have actually used the cacti themselves as part of my base decorations. There are even these giant pillars that have cave systems hidden inside them, specifically right here and here on the map. But if you have to drive a buggy to the shield wall from there, you only have one road in the north or a long drive south for aluminum. Personally, I think the open desert of Trail has the best views. That is where all the action happens: falling ships, spice explosions, and Shehulud. Building off the cliff of the shield wall is also a popular choice. Ultimately, it all comes down to your playstyle and future-proofing your location. You can build anywhere you like. You just have to figure these 3 things out before you start laying foundations. That leads us to the next chapter: how to start building your base. The location you have chosen dictates your design, and the 2 go hand in hand. Factors like the terrain, no building zones, and road access will decide the shape and size of your structure. Often I start with a design and then search for a location to accommodate it. This stage is a back and forth process, looking at your best options and checking if a location is appropriate for what you intend to build. The next major factor for both design and location is the hangar. There are 4 main hangar designs, defined by how you enter them: from the top, the side, the bottom. Or, if you're on a private server with sandstorms disabled, you may simply park your ornithopters outside on a landing platform. You must consider all of these variables before you place your sub-fief down. Again, ask yourself, do you need to be connected to the road? What do you want nearby? Resources, the world map, scenery, or vegetation? And what kind of hangar entrance do you want? Once you have figured that out and found the location to accommodate your needs, we can talk about mapping out your floor layout and the basic shape. With the hours I have put into building in this game, I can do this part in my head. But to make it easier for you, we will use a tool called Polypad. You can search for Amplify Polypad in your browser, and I will leave a link to it in the video description. Once you are on the website, click Start a new Polypad. At the top right corner, click on Grid and Display, then choose the large square grid. In the top left corner, open Geometry, and you will see an orange equilateral triangle and a blue square which match the shapes we have in the game. At the bottom, in the construction tools, you can use the line tool to highlight a 10 by 10 grid. That is roughly the size of an advanced sub-fief, which ensures that whatever you plan in Polypad will actually fit in the game. You can also draw a right-angled triangle for the Atreides special building piece. Now you can drag and drop your shapes, turn them any way you want, and they will snap together just like they do in the game. Let us talk about tessellation. For those who are not familiar with the term, it is just a fancy way of saying you are tiling a surface using shapes that fit together perfectly, without any overlaps and without leaving any gaps. That is essentially what you are doing when you build a base in this game, using squares and equilateral triangles. I see a lot of comments from people who cannot figure out why they have gaps in their floors. The issue stems from the fact that the triangle is not a square cut in half diagonally. Most gamers are used to that diagonal cut from other games, but here the piece is equilateral. That means all the sides are equal, and because the triangle is smaller in size than the square, you have to use tessellation to make everything fit. It is a little more tricky to build here compared to a game like Grounded, but it allows us to come up with much more complex shapes once you understand how the math works. In order for the floor not to have gaps, every single corner has to add up to exactly 360 degrees. You have 3 specific combinations to make that happen. You can have 4 squares, which are 90 degrees each. You can use 6 triangles, which are 60 degrees each. Or you can mix them by using 2 squares and 3 triangles. Anything other than those 3 combinations results in a 30-degree gap that nothing in the game can fill. Stick to those 3 setups at every corner, and your floor will be perfect. Do not panic if you find the mathematics a bit daunting. You can ignore the numbers entirely by following 2 simple rules. First, you must always build outwards from a single point. Think of it like a wave moving away from the center. If you are using only squares or only triangles, you can build however you please. But the moment you start mixing the 2, you must maintain that outward momentum. Second, do not attempt to turn back and reconnect separate branches of your floor. Unless you truly know what you are doing, the pieces will fail to align. You should treat every expansion as a one-way journey from your starting point, or in other words, the seed. For example, if you are playing on a public server and you intend to enter your hangar from the top or the bottom, you will need a pente shield. But as of right now, it can only be attached to square and rectangular openings. So the floor directly below it, or the roof above it, if you are entering from the bottom, must be that shape. I suggest starting with that shape first, and this will become your seed from which the rest of your base will grow. If you prefer entering from the side, you have more flexibility. The entrance to the hangar simply needs to be a straight line, so a row of triangles or a row of squares will serve you well. On a private server with sandstorms disabled, you can skip the shield entirely and build a landing platform in any shape you decide. Regardless of your choice, establishing that initial shape as your seed, whether it's the hangar opening or a tower in the center of your base, whatever shape you decide that you must have, you'll grow the floor plan from that point. Once your seed is established, you have several shapes at your disposal to design the rest of your base with. You have the standard squares, rectangles, and triangles, but also diamonds, trapezoids, hexagons, dodecagons, and the shape called rhombite tetrahedron, or more commonly known as a cantileted tetrahedron. But you all knew that already because I just learned that. Anyways, you should approach your design in terms of larger structural chunks rather than alternating your pattern row by row. Think of your base as a collection of distinct geometric zones made from the pieces we discussed. For instance, if your hangar is a trapezoid positioned on a cliff edge, you establish that straight line for your pentashield and then extend a long rectangular hallway from it to divide the base. From that central corridor, you might attach 2 hexagonal or dodecagonal towers to create a balanced, impressive silhouette. perhaps you prefer a more aggressive profile, you could take a large triangle and connect squares to its sides to form a composite shape. The primary benefit of this method is the internal layout, a floor plan that is a frantic mix of small alternating pieces causes your walls to follow those irregular lines. This leaves you with rooms that are difficult to furnish and feel unrealistic. By planning in larger sections, your living rooms, hallways, and storage areas remain practical and aesthetically grounded. You are essentially building a complex silhouette out of simple, manageable sections. As long as you respect the geometry at every corner and grow outward from your seat, the entire structure will remain solid and gap-free. This approach allows you to maintain architectural realism while still achieving the funky or unique shapes that make a build stand out. You simply assemble these larger sections one by one, ensuring your corners meet the required 360 degrees. If your ambition is a rounded structure, start with a symmetrical shape in the center. You might choose 6 triangles or 4 squares, or perhaps an even larger symmetrical foundation if you prefer a grander scale. By alternating your pieces and ensuring every corner utilizes the combination of 2 squares and 3 triangles, you will achieve a rounded appearance. This particular configuration satisfies the geometric requirements while allowing the structure to curve naturally. The beauty of this complexity is revealed when you look closer. If you zoom in on any section of a massive, rounded floor plan, you will see the same basic shapes we have already discussed. An intricate fortress is actually a collection of smaller functional designs scaled up. These larger sections act as individual bases that have been seamlessly integrated into the whole. Whether you are building a simple outpost or a sprawling dodecagon, the fundamental geometry remains identical. As I mentioned, a 10 by 10 grid represents a single advanced subfief. In the game, your total area consists of that one advanced subfief and 5 additional staking units of the same size. This provides you with 6 units in total to arrange as you see fit. In Polypad, the line tool is your most valuable asset for defining the boundaries of your territory. There is a significant restriction on how these units connect. You cannot offset the staking units. Every square must be attached directly and centered to the sides of the others. This geometric limitation means you are working with a set number of possible territory footprints. You are limited to the following configurations. You can have a single row of 6 with 1 unit in the front and 5 behind it. You can arrange 2 at the front and 4 in the back. You could choose a standard 2 by 3 or 3 by 2 rectangular block. You also have the option of a 1-3-2 formation with 1 unit at the leading edge, 3 in the center row, and 2 at the rear. Once you have outlined this territory in Polypad, you possess the definitive boundary for your tessellation. Every triangle and square you place must remain within this highlighted perimeter if you wish to avoid an inconvenient property dispute with the mechanics of the game. So now you should have some understanding of the shapes at your disposal and the area you are bound to. And as long as you adhere to the 2 rules we have established, you are free to experiment within Polypad to determine your starting seed and the eventual silhouette of your base. You also now understand the origins of that troublesome 30-degree floor gap, and we can move to you placing that floor plan upon the land that you've chosen. Translating that floor plan onto the land requires an understanding of foundations and the game's stability mechanic. So, within the structural menu of your building tool, you have your primary sources for stability: foundations, columns, and pillars. Each of these serves as a source of stability when you place one down touching the ground. From that point, you can attach floor pieces horizontally away from the source. These foundations, columns, and pillars support exactly 9 floor pieces horizontally from their center. The choice between the foundations and columns and pillars rests on 2 specific reasons. The first involves whether you wish to view the foundation sides as a unique wall design. The second is a mechanical limitation. You cannot attach a wall to the sides of a foundation. The game will only permit this with the rounded foundation, which accepts a rounded wall. If you wish to use a specific wall design, you must place a column with a floor above it, and then attach any wall of your choosing to the side of that floor. Building vertically from the source of stability is essentially unlimited. However, Horizontal stability is finite. As I've said, it's 9 pieces. And because the equilateral triangles are smaller in size than squares, they do not extend as far out. This presents a challenge if you are constructing a massive hangar off a cliffside using only triangles. You have several remedies for maximizing stability. First, you can integrate a row of square floors along the side of the hangar shape to support the triangles. Second, you can attach walls or half walls to the bottom of the triangles. If these walls are supported by something beneath them, they provide stability for the triangles above. This method allows you to attach almost twice as many triangles compared to an unsupported floor. For the absolute maximum stability, particularly when creating a massive hangar opening at the bottom of a base, you should utilize the Atreides building set, specifically the wide floor triangles, which cover the length of 3 square floors per piece. These pieces extend significantly further out than standard components. If you are using a different building set, you can hide these structural pieces with other elements, so they act as a concealed skeleton. You can also utilize the wide wall triangle, the same purpose. These provide the maximum support for a structure hanging off a cliff from a single distant source of stability. Stability operates from the bottom up. You can build vertically as much as you wish. As you move horizontally from the source of stability, your support diminishes. Eventually, the game will prevent further construction once the support is insufficient. Now that the mechanics of support are settled, I suggest focusing on these 3 specific areas to get your build right from the start. Number 1. The driveway and road access. If you intend to connect to a road, your driveway is the first priority. I suggest you design the driveway before placing any other foundations. This ensures the angle and height into the garage or base entrance are perfectly aligned. If you build the base first, you risk finding yourself at the wrong elevation or angle to meet the road, and the strict limitations of your building area leave no room for late adjustments. I have encountered this frustration personally, and now I always secure the connection first. Half slopes provide a more natural appearance. If the terrain is particularly steep, start the driveway with a 45-degree slope at the very bottom and transition into a more gradual incline. Number 2. Centering your base on the plot. Next, you should focus on centering your base on the plot. It is helpful to zoom out and eyeball the terrain to find the exact position and angle that centers your build as intended. I often go out to that spot and place a single floor piece with a column or foundation to serve as a visual reference point. This allows you to see how the base will sit within the landscape before you commit to the full layout. Proper angling at this stage prevents your structure from looking crooked or poorly positioned relative to the natural environment. Number 3. Height and clearance for your interior. The third essential task is ensuring the height of your floor plan is sufficient for all your needs. Your driveway must end at a level that permits the construction of a garage with enough depth. If the gap between the end of your driveway and the back wall of your garage is only 1 floor wide before you hit terrain poking through the ground, you should elevate the end of that driveway to clear the obstacle. This ensures you have actual room to build your vehicle storage rather than being boxed in by a rock. Once the entrance is established, you must ensure that all ground floor rooms sit above the terrain. If the elevation changes across your plot, I suggest elevating sections of the base as a whole. If your garage clears the floor, but the ground rises immediately past it, look for a logical spot to place a staircase leading to the next floor. This allows the hallway or the next room to sit a bit higher while following the natural rise and fall of the land. You could, of course, take the novice route and build the entire structure 3 floors up on chicken leg pillars to keep everything on one single level. While that certainly keeps the rocks out of your living room, it lacks the architectural realism and presence of an epic build. A base that integrates with the terrain by using different heights for different sections looks far more formidable than one hovering awkwardly on stilts. Back in the day, staking units were reusable. If you made a mistake while claiming your territory, you could simply reuse those units and start over. That flexibility has since been removed. While a veteran with hundreds of billions of solari in the bank may find the cost of crafting new units negligible, It is a significant burden for someone just starting their journey. To avoid wasting the staking units, I suggest using a temporary advanced sub-fief and some scrap metal for your initial planning. You can place the console down and build what you need, such as your driveway, or maybe figuring how a portion of the base fits in. Once you have visualized the placement and confirmed the angles are correct, you delete that sub-fief and place it again in a different spot to continue your planning. This method allows you to figure out the layout and positioning before you ever commit a single permanent staking unit. This strategy is also one of the ways to effectively expand your base far over a cliff. Staking units require a solid floor or ground surface to be placed. The game will not allow you to stake open air. To overcome this, you place your sub-fief console as close to the edge of the cliff as possible. From that position, you build your floor platform over the void as far as you can. You then delete that sub-fief and repeat it as many times as you need. Because the platform you built remains behind, you can now walk out onto it and place a new sub-fief console on that platform. This new platform provides the solid surface necessary to use a staking unit in that area, over the cliff, allowing you to leapfrog your territory far beyond the natural ledge. Finally, you can utilize this approach to maximize your vertical building space. Vertical staking units expand the sub-fief boundary both upward and downward from the console. To achieve the greatest possible height, you should build a tower and place your console exactly 26 walls above the ground. At this specific elevation, 5 vertical staking units will provide you with a total of 80 floors of vertical building volume. This ensures your tower base dominates the skyline from the highest possible vantage point. I think that concludes Chapter 2, which is the essential foundation for epic base building, as a truly formidable structure is born of rigorous preparation. We shall now transition to the creative application of the building piece, moving beyond the basic constraints established by the developer. Chapter 3 addresses the ways in which your building pieces can be used to achieve their maximum effect. We shall look past the basic mechanics provided by the developers and explore how to repurpose these assets to build a base that possesses true architectural presence. Within the Wall tab of the Building menu, every piece includes an arrow and labels indicating the inner and outer faces. These markers suggest a specific orientation for the interior and exterior of your structure. You should treat these as mere suggestions rather than rigid requirements. One often finds that disregarding these labels entirely provides the creative freedom necessary for a superior design. You create immediate depth by alternating the orientation of wall faces along a long stretch of building. This simple variation introduces a visual rhythm that prevents the monotony of a flat surface. By flipping the direction of certain pieces, you transform a plain boundary into a textured architectural feature, without the need for advanced glitches or complex placements. You should examine how different walls align when stacked. Certain designs are crafted to create continuous vertical lines, while others provide a more distinct contrast. You should spend a significant amount of time experimenting with these combinations to see which textures complement one another. The most impressive builds are the result of testing how various pieces interact until you find a style that satisfies your specific aesthetic. The half wall is an essential component that is frequently overlooked in favor of its full-size counterparts. It serves a vital role in establishing proper architectural proportions and adding necessary visual weight to a structure. I use the half wall in every single project I undertake. It is rare to find a build of mine that does not utilize them extensively, because you should avoid having every section of your structure appear at the same uniform height. Stacking full walls repeatedly creates a monotonous look. The half wall allows for necessary separation and architectural variety. It functions much like a touch-up brush, providing the detail needed to make a simple design far more interesting. These pieces are particularly useful for ceiling work. They allow you to move away from a basic flat surface. You can use half walls to create recessed sections, hide lighting, or define specific zones within a large room by covering them with roof or floor pieces. Any overhanging platform or visible floor edge in my builds is covered by at least a half wall of thickness. Standard floor and roof pieces are too skinny to realistically suggest they could support a massive structure or the weight of a heavy vehicle. While a full wall often makes a platform look too bulky or thick, a half wall provides the ideal amount of girth. This adds the necessary illusion of structural integrity and realism to any ledge or overhang. The half wall also allows for intricate designs that are impossible with full-sized pieces. I often use them under windows to prevent the frames from touching the floor, which gives the window a much thicker and more reinforced appearance. It is the key to ensuring your base looks like a realistic, thought-out structure rather than a simple box. Incorporating half walls into your build is a must. The next segment in the category of walls involves doors. While their primary function is obvious, they can be utilized effectively as permanent archways. To achieve this, you must approach the door and hold the F key and disable the automatic closing function. This ensures the door remains open indefinitely. I've recently used this technique to create unique window designs by placing a window piece slightly offset behind an open doorway. This adds a specific layer of depth and a unique visual element to your build. Rounded walls are excellent additions to your repertoire for two specific reasons. First, they are a practical choice for managing your building limit, which is capped at exactly 5,000 pieces. A single rounded wall covers a corner that would otherwise require two separate wall pieces. Second, these walls are designed to sit perfectly over a rounded foundation. This is particularly useful if you wish to conceal the foundation and maintain a consistent texture from the ground up. The half-rounded wall is a vital tool for experimenting with complex geometry. This piece does not follow standard collision rules and is capable of clipping or glitching into other pieces. This makes it an ideal solution for covering the awkward gaps that inevitably appear when you are building at irregular angles. You can also utilize these pieces to create interesting columns by combining the half-rounded walls with triangles walls to add extra texture to the structure. I find these pieces essential for creating smooth transitions. Many roof pieces and inclines don't look right on top of a round wall. The half-rounded wall serves as a flawless transition point, allowing you to move from a curved silhouette back to a 90-degree corner where other pieces can snap in without issue. Next are the wedge walls, which I use in nearly every construction to either completely enclose the space beneath a staircase or to ensure the staircase appears at least half a wall or a full wall thick. A bare-bones staircase often appears structurally insufficient, particularly when crafted from materials like granite. The Smuggler set is a notable exception, as its metallic design and integrated under-railing provide a look that suggests it can stand independently. For other materials, adding thickness or covering the gap entirely is essential for architectural realism. You can also use wedge walls to create an alternate railing design. Instead of using a standard railing, you can place wedge walls and raise them by a half wall. This configuration covers the gap underneath the stairs while extending a half wall above the steps, creating a unique structure along the edge. To further enhance this design, you can place a corner column at the corner of the staircase and attach a light to the top. This provides a clean, sophisticated finish that standard building techniques often overlook. Also, these components are used to create diagonal windows by maintaining a half-wall gap between two triangle walls. Placing railings along this line narrows the opening, ensuring that unwanted visitors cannot wiggle their way through and enter the base while preserving the aesthetic of the window. Wedge walls are crucial for the distinctive hawk designs favored by the Atreides. The sharp corners of triangle walls, particularly the half-triangle pieces, possess clipping properties similar to the half-round wall. They can glitch into other components and each other, which allows for the creation of archways with a narrower span. For instance, you can construct an archway that is only 1.5 floor pieces wide, rather than the standard 2. The roof covertop functions in the same manner as these half-triangle walls, as the tip is capable of clipping into other structures. When experimenting with unconventional designs, you should test wedge walls to cover any irregular gaps. The points of these walls often provide the necessary coverage where square pieces fail. Finally, you can use these pieces to create arches. A little designer tip is that the bottom of an Atreides incline typically features a large, square, protruding section. By elevating the incline with a half wall, you create a recessed archway that is more fluent and less protruding than the default placement. This technique highlights the importance of the half wall for creating designs that are more intricate than standard building techniques permit. The roof section stands as the most critical component for those seeking to master advanced architectural techniques. Its primary value lies in the ability to offset building components from the standard grid. When you have a complex floor plan made of triangles and squares, the easiest way to close the roof without any gaps is simple observation. You should look at the floor piece directly below where you are building. If the floor below is a square, you place a square roof piece. If the floor below is a triangle, you use a triangle roof. Following this rule ensures that even the most intricate shapes remain sealed and consistent. Roof pieces are excellent for creating smooth transitions inside the base. By attaching them to the underside of a ceiling, you can soften 90-degree corners where the wall meets the top of the room. This adds a textured, professional look to your interior that standard flat ceilings cannot provide. Because a triangle is smaller than a square, you can use it to offset your walls from the standard grid. If you place a triangle floor within the same space as a square floor, any walls attached to that triangle will be shifted slightly. You can shift your entire grid by exactly half a floor using triangle roofs. If you attach a triangle roof to the top of a wall, the game will allow you to place a floor piece perpendicularly, shifted by a half a floor distance. You can support this offset with the roof piece itself or by attaching a column if you are near the ground. Offsetting your build can result in a gap of 1.5 floor pieces. These gaps can be managed using wedge walls or the half-round walls mentioned previously. If you have a hole in the floor due to these offsets, you can cover it by placing 2 rounded rooftops or rounded floors facing each other. Even if a small opening remains, this provides the necessary coverage to seal the floor and finish the area. Generating unique wall angles that deviate from the standard 60-degree or 90-degree floor grid is an essential skill for complex structural work. The engine permits a wall to exist at any angle, such as 30 degrees, provided its edge is attached to another supported wall's edge. This is achieved by placing a wall as an initial anchor and then attaching a floor of a different shape to its upper edge. For instance, placing a rectangular floor on top of a wall built on a square foundation allows that upper floor to act as a guide for the new angle. One must remain mindful of the support mechanics. Because these offset walls no longer align with the grid below, they derive support exclusively from the vertical connection to the anchor wall. This allows for intricate designs, such as the varied angles required for a hawk-shaped statue. However, one should exercise caution. These offsets often lead to significant misalignment in the broader structure, making it difficult to seal gaps or finish the roofline. You can stack these techniques by generating one angle and then attaching subsequent triangles or squares to create a chain of unique geometry. As long as every piece meets at a supported edge, the structure remains viable. This is an advanced tool that requires precision and experimentation to ensure the final result remains coherent despite the deviation from the intended grid. While these offsets provide the depth necessary for a superior build, the mechanical components required to achieve them are rarely aesthetically pleasing. They often resemble a chaotic internal skeleton that can detract from the finished look of your fortress. To maintain a clean and professional appearance, you must conceal these structural adjustments. One of the most effective ways to hide this complexity is to house your offset logic beneath the main floor of the base. Additionally, you can create intentional gaps within your structure by doubling your walls. This creates a hollow space or a wall cavity that can house the offsets. These cavities act as a structural facade, allowing you to present a perfectly aligned exterior, while the intricate work of offsetting your rooms or windows remains contained within the walls themselves. A true architectural masterpiece presents a seamless face to the world, keeping the technicalities of its construction hidden from the naked eye. Inclines represent a vital escape from the tyranny of 90-degree angles. They provide the necessary slopes to cap angled walls and create sophisticated support structures beneath balconies and overhangs. By utilizing these pieces, you can resolve the geometric gaps that occur when moving beyond a standard square grid. When applied to a ceiling, these pieces soften hard corners and provide a fluid transition between vertical and horizontal planes, just like the roof pieces did. Beyond their structural role, they offer distinct aesthetic textures. Placed as a primary surface, they mimic the appearance of roof tiles or industrial louvers. They are the primary tools for constructing elegant arches and ensuring that every overhanging section of your fortress appears grounded and structurally deliberate. For vehicle transit, half inclines are the superior choice. They provide a more realistic gradient and ensure smoother handling for your buggies. Steep stairs are fine for inside of the base, especially when you have tall ceilings and a large difference between the floors. The specialized construction section offers distinct assets for the Atreides and Harkonnen sets. While basic building sets are limited to railings and ladders, these factions possess large, ornate pieces that allow for unconventional architectural choices. The large faction gates are designed to function alongside the tall door. The Atreides gate displays the hawk sigil, while the Harkonnen gate features a prominent face. Rather than utilizing these strictly as external entryways, you should consider them for interior wall features. By sinking the gate so that the bottom half is submerged beneath the floor, you conceal the functional doorway and leave the detailed iconography as a decorative centerpiece. This transforms a standard gate into a striking piece of interior architecture, perfect for a main hallway or a grand chamber. This application is rarely seen, as most builders use them only as intended. It is most easily executed on the ground floor, though you can achieve the same result on upper levels by concealing the lower portion within a crawl space or a thick floor. The Harkonnen set includes a specialized tall ramp and corresponding triangle walls. This is the only asset available for creating a steep, peaked roof. Since there are no rounded pieces for this set, the result is a square, pointed silhouette. The interior of these tall ramps is particularly effective for capturing the industrial aesthetic seen in the films. They are well suited for constructing imposing high-ceiling hallways. Their application is straightforward, providing the necessary verticality for aggressive and imposing rooflines. The Atreides building set includes a collection of wide components, such as wide ramps, staircases, and specialized floor triangles. These pieces are designed to function as an interdependent system. The wide floor triangle is intended to align with the wide wall inclines and ramp edges to create a sealed structure. While these components are best suited for exterior applications, they provide a distinct set of angles and offsets that can enhance the complexity of a build if one is willing to navigate their specific constraints. A significant limitation of this set is the absence of a corresponding green roof piece for the wide floor triangle. If you utilize this piece at the top of a structure, it will retain its standard floor coloration. This creates a visual discrepancy when compared to the rest of the Atreides set. You must plan your upper elevations with this color limitation in mind, as the standard green roofing cannot be attached to these specialized triangular footprints. These specialized pieces often present an elevation issue during placement. They frequently shift the vertical alignment of a build by approximately half the thickness of a floor. This shift can disrupt the symmetry of an entire structure if it is not addressed immediately. To ensure these components remain flush with your primary flooring, you must attach them directly to an existing wall. This anchor point forces the piece to adhere to the correct grid height rather than defaulting to its inherent shifted elevation. While these assets are more restrictive than standard building components, they offer unique architectural possibilities for those who take the time to master their irregular behavior. Mastering the art of construction requires a shift in perspective from mere survival to deliberate design. To transition from a functional box to a legendary fortress, you must apply 5 fundamental rules that govern depth, weight, and visual sophistication. Rule 1. Consistent experimentation. You must spend the time to fail. Expertise comes from building a section, realizing it is subpar, and tearing it down. Experiment with every piece until you understand its limits. New techniques reveal themselves only through constant labor. You should treat every project as a workshop where you test how pieces interact when they are stripped of their intended purpose. Mastery is the result of rebuilding a single section dozens of times until the geometry is perfect. Rule 2. Visual fragmentation. Large, flat surfaces are monotonous and look like temporary shelters. If a wall is massive and looks the same from end to end, you must divide it into smaller, distinct parts. Add vertical columns or horizontal half walls to create physical lines on the surface. This provides the eye with more detail to process and suggests an intentional design where every stone serves a specific structural purpose. Rule 3. Dimensional depth. Depth is achieved by shifting walls off the main grid. You must pull certain sections of your base forward and push others back. This push and pull is particularly effective around entrances and windows. The resulting shadows provide a three-dimensional look that defines a sophisticated structure. A recessed doorway or a deep overhang makes the building look like a fortified fortress rather than a fragile shell. Rule 4. Analytical observation. Study the work of other builders without hesitation. Designers in every industry learn by analyzing the styles of those who came before them. Look at how other people handle corners, roof lines, and transitions. Use these ideas as a foundation for your own projects. Your unique style will eventually grow from the specific techniques you have gathered and adapted from the building community. Rule 5. Engineering mass. A structure must look like it can support its own weight to appear realistic. Thin walls and floor edges look fake and artificial. You should use half walls to add thickness to your platforms and overhanging ledges. Place heavy pillars at every external corner. A building that looks physically solid and reinforced will always appear more imposing and believable to the observer. This guide encompasses a broad spectrum of knowledge, ranging from foundational principles to the most advanced architectural maneuvers. It is my hope that you have discovered insights that are both practical and inspiring for your own constructions. If you have found these technical demonstrations beneficial, I would encourage you to subscribe and follow my future work. Your continued presence and support are genuinely appreciated. I believe we have addressed all pertinent matters for the time being. I have conveyed the extent of my current expertise, and I trust it will serve you well in your future endeavors. Until we meet again, goodbye.